Welcome to the Wrestle for Real podcast. We will be reviewing Monday Night Raw post show day 26, Memorial Day. Hope everybody had a good Memorial Day. I know I had a pretty solid Memorial Day. But Monday Night Raw, about a two and a half hour show tonight, so pretty standard for them. So let's see what we got. We got Stan and Spook on with us today. I appreciate you guys being here. So we'll get right into it. So how do we start this thing off? How do we start the show off? They had a Saturday night main event package with included. It was highlighting the match with Sammy and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. I believe everyone saw what happened at Saturday Night Main Event. So basically they was doing that and kind of bringing us back in. So because Seth and whatever this crew is opening the show, obviously with Bronson Reed as the new guy. Looking like a pretty solid fit there. So they came out, did a pretty much a standard promo, basically just with Bronson Reed in the mix now. So we got a new guy added already. No new titles yet, no new championships. But Seth talked about going after this Money in the Bank. So he was setting up his qualifier match as well for later on. So what you thought about the opening, Spook, man? What you thought about Big Bronson Reed, man? Jumping in on these boys, man, coming and joining this team right now, man. How you think he fitting in?
I mean, that's a good look, man. When I finally get to see the opening of the show now, what I'm saying? I got a Monday night off, so what I'm saying? It was a good look, man. Yeah, man. I think they are a pretty solid team, man. With Brun. I never would have thought about Brunson, because I thought, like you and Stan was saying, it was they probably was trying to introduce a new guy or somebody that was a little bit less undercard or underdog, what I'm saying, in the game of the WWE. But yeah, I mean, it's a good look, man. I think they finna definitely, make a reign in this whole little industry right now, man. They finna tear up some they finna wreak havoc, man. They finna wreak havoc.
Yeah, man, I think it's definitely a good look, man. I like seeing Bronson Reed. He was at least somebody who wasn't getting a lot of airtime, and he was recently injured. I think he needs that help. I think there's a lot of guys who, if you're just trying to get in solo matches and not be a part of any faction, you really got to be in a special spot because it's just really crowded, and a lot of people just not gonna get their time to shine. But what was your thoughts when you seen Bronson Reed pop up at Saturday Night Main Event, Stan? What was your initial thoughts when you seen him?
Initially, I was happy to see him back,
Mm.
and then when I started to think, I was like, "Hold on, don't he slick got beef with Seth Rollins?" So I was like, "How they got like? Did they just bear the hatchet all of a sudden, or is he gonna be the one to turn kind of thing?" Because even Michael Cole alluded to that, like, "Oh, last time we saw him, he was fighting Seth, and and
Yeah.
stuff. They had beef." So I'm like, "All right, so where are we going with this kind of thing?" But nah, he's a it's like I'm glad they're starting to get big men. They can like move fast
Mhm,
because
mhm.
he's one of those that can like he's a big man, but he can do moves in the ring like a cruiserweight. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And so I'm glad they're starting to get not the old school big man that we grew up with, and the new class. They actually showing that. So I'm glad it's him. I'm just interested to see how this is gonna go as far as the previous storyline before the one he was with Braun Strowman. It was with Seth Rollins. He the one that put Seth Rollins out. You know what I mean? So it's just like I wonder like where this is going. Well, he like hurt him for a little bit, but I just wanted to see how where that's gonna go.
Yeah, it was interesting. That was kind of the last big major thing we kind of seen. I think it was either that or Braun Strowman. I'm not sure which one came more recent.
I
What
think
Braun
Strowman was
Strowman
more
was
recent.
the more recent one?
Yeah,
Yeah, so they had that, and obviously he couldn't come back, and that would have hurt him even more. Couldn't come back and fight with Strowman.
yeah, because he
Got back with Rollins, so they did the cool embrace. And coming out on Monday Night Raw, I think we still don't even know the name of these guys, but I think it's a good look. I think he fits in nicely, and it's gonna give him something to do. And he wasn't a guy that was a big talker, so I think that definitely helps as well. So definitely interested in seeing where they can go with this or how they're gonna work this out. But so far, I think it's looking good. It's just not a name. There's no titles yet, but it's still very early. I think we just need the crescendo at the right time, and that's with Seth Rollins' main event night 2 of WrestleMania. But so right now they can maybe slow walk it a little bit and just kind of keep dipping their toe in and out of the mystery of what could happen. Because if you got Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman, I don't see how you're not main event night 2 unless something happens really quick. One thing about the main event picture with WWE is they like those are the long term storylines. It's always in the main event, so we might be able to get some longevity out of it. But after that, we had Penta, Chad Gable, and Dragon Lee. We finally got Chad Gable back wrestling, not just interfering. Dragon Lee out there, Penta, Money in the Bank qualifying match. I think Chad Gable was really there to set up his match with Vikingo, I believe his name, from AAA, that they'll be having at the Worlds Collide.
Yeah.
I guess it's a PLE, which I believe is going to be on YouTube if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah, it is.
a little different. And I don't know. I've watched their YouTube channel. It's a lot of commercials, so I'm hoping we don't have to sit through that. Like, it's pretty excessive. Anything on the YouTube channel, but I think he was just out there really setting up that match. I think Dragon Lee was out there just to hang out. Needed something to do. And Penta was out there to get that opportunity at Money in the Bank, because why not? Definitely could use someone with what he's been doing. I'm not sure if he's going to be at Worlds Collide. I believe they're in the same place, right?
Nah, it's like I know Money in the Bank is in the Intuit Dome. World's
No, the
Cup.
same. They still in LA or Cali.
Yeah, it's like
Okay,
it's
just
not
not the
far at
same arena.
all.
Yeah, so because I'm definitely assuming Pence is going to be there. I don't know if they made an announcement. I didn't see that, but he's definitely going to be at Money in the Bank. That would be hard to pull off 2 in 1 night, especially if we expected him to actually win anything. But Chad Gable, doing what he does, man. He's that guy that's going to go and try to get those guys looking real good for this new audience that they're trying to bring. That's going to be a good look for him, bringing in Vikingo. But what do you think about this Penta, Chad Gable, and Dragon Lee match? Spook? What you thought about this one? Did the right
It
guy
was
win?
a solid match. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like you said, Chad did his thing. Penta, he go always be Penta. So it wasn't a bad match at all, man. I think it was a solid match, man. I think Dragon Lee was just kind of like just throwing in there in way, but it's just one of them things to just add to it to make it, like you said, a triple threat. To kind of give him a little TV time, and that was really it. Nothing major, nothing crazy.
Yeah, what you thought about this one, Stay? Think the right guy won this one?
Yeah, yeah, it did. Because I mean, like you said, Chad already has a match going on. Maybe we'll see El Grande Americano in the qualifier match. We don't know, but I mean, it was a good match. The right guy won. It was like one spot that I was like, yo, I don't know about that one. It was Penta was doing his death driver
Mhm.
to Chad, but he had Dragon Lee on his back, and I was like, I don't know about that. I mean, Penta is like 42, 41, something like that. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah.
Because even the ref was like, yeah, let me check on Chad right there a little bit.
Mhm.
But nah, it was a good match. You got 3 guys that can go in the ring that are all talented athletically, so it's gonna be a good match.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me thought Dragon Lee maybe should have won that match, seeing as he's the guy that's really got, like, he's gonna fade to black. Penta could have had another match at Worlds Collide. He could have had a match at Money in the Bank. Chad Gable already has it set up. I think Dragon Lee got the short end of the stick. Because either way, I don't think Penta's winning Money in the Bank. So why even, you could have really just threw Dragon Lee in there. He could have done some nice spots and took that L instead of giving that L to Penta. I'd be pretty surprised if Penta is walking out of there with the Money in the Bank briefcase. But because they didn't do that, Dragon Lee was just there. He just existed, got some time in, worked a little cardio, and took a little break from catering. But those guys did what they do. Pretty solid. And in that match, Vikingo did get his a little bit of payback there. So I'm expecting that to be a good match as well. I'm expecting that to be a good match. I don't know what they got planned for Worlds Collide, but Chad Gable, Vikingo might have some main event potential. I'm
Yeah,
just
I
not
was
sure.
looking at the poster. Javon Evans is on there, so I'm like, who would he even wrestle? But
Okay.
yeah, the poster
Yeah.
is looking. I
Well,
think.
initially when they announced it, they were saying it was NXT versus AAA. And
Yeah,
then I guess they just got some other guys involved. So, but Javon Evans need to shine. He definitely could use some shine. That'd be a good look for him. After that, we got our weekly Monday night backstage segment with Judgment Day. This is just what it is. So what we're gonna get. We had. Let me make sure I got it right. It looks like, well, yeah, Roxanne was back there once again, being a little flirty. Serving chicken nuggets up in a way I've never been served chicken nuggets. Mine only come in a box, just, banged up. She got him on a platter. She had him in a nice, like a donut box or a shirt box last time. I don't even know what that was. It was a very nice presentation. Finn Balor's getting a kick out of it. Dom is looking like how Dom would be looking. During that segment, Liv popped back up to a good cheer from the crowd. Still not really moved by Liv, but I guess, being gone for I think maybe 2-3 weeks or however long it was, people was glad to see her back and see how her interaction was gonna go with Roxanne. And she kind of just dismissed Roxanne. Not sure, Liv still seems so kind of newer and green to me that it's odd that she's somebody's, veteran when it comes to like a Roxanne or something like that. But I could see Roxanne getting to that Liv spot pretty quickly. But it just pretty much ended with Liv going and I guess getting ready for her Money in the Bank qualifying match. Having that title, we pretty much, not much expectations that she's going to be walking around as a double champion or holding a briefcase or something like that. But time will tell. What'd you think about this segment backstage, Stan? You thought Liv and Roxanne's interaction? Where are they going with this? What's going on here? We
I I don't know. Like when like I still think it's going in a way where Finn breaks away and him and Roxanne kind of do their own thing. And so I feel like that might still be the plan.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Like I don't think it's room for three women in Judgment Day because if like Roxanne gets a hold to the briefcase, then that's just gonna add more to the story. And they can drag it out for a little bit more. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they may be headed with this one, man. But that is what they're doing with Judgment Day. They're just, if nothing else, they're making sure Judgment Day is featured very prominently every week. They're getting like the most segments, the most TV time outside of the main event guys of Seth Rollins and that crew. Anything interesting you see on the horizon with Judgment Day, Spook? I mean, what you thinking? Is this headed to something interesting, or we gonna be just disappointed?
Well, no, this is getting good. This is getting good. This is Finn is really he's really trying to stir up something, man. He really like he getting a kick out of this whole little segment, man. He really having fun with it, man. He was this is another Finn that I like to see right here, man. He was definitely, very, very happy with this whole interaction, man. So yeah,
He should be.
I'm definitely wanting to see what's gonna, play out, man, how they're gonna play this little storyline out.
He's like some face paint away from like Joker Finn.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He might need to evolve into that, man. He may need to evolve.
Yeah. So after that, we had a backstage segment with Tozawa getting ready for his destruction, and that walked us right into the Tozawa and Rusev match, which it started with Tozawa getting a little offense in and doing what he does. We kind of know this spot is either used for one or two things. That's to set up something else or comedy. So just so happens that we got both. We got a little bit of comedy, and then the setup would look like Rusev and Sheamus one day going at it. I think Rusev and Sheamus, were they part of like that group that had like all foreigners?
Talking about the League of Nations or
Yeah,
whatever.
was they both in that?
I think so. I know it was like Rusev, Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio,
McIntyre, I think, was in there.
Drew McIntyre, and Wade Barrett.
It was Wade Barrett?
Yeah, Wade Barrett was in there.
Okay.
Cause when they signed when they bought Triple A, everybody was like, oh, they can do it again because everybody's back.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was like League of Nations, I think. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was like Del Rio, Wade Barrett, Rusev, McIntyre,
Okay.
and Sheamus. Yeah, it was five. Yeah,
It wasn't fine. Okay. Yeah. So I
but that
mean,
that'd be a
on
crazy
paper,
group now.
yeah, on paper that it looks really good. I'm not sure. That was before Drew left, was it not?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
way back,
yeah.
and
That's when Vince was trying to push him to the moon, and he didn't want it, kind of thing.
yeah.
Like
So
he was like too young for it, or something like that.
we still got those guys, seeing what that's going to look like with Rusev and Sheamus. So if nothing else, we're going to get some good matches out of that. Nothing too much, man. What you think about this Rusev Tozawa match, Spook? How you felt about that one?
He has to do him like that.
Yeah.
That's all I like to say, man. But it did set up a good, just a good stare down between Rusev and Sheamus. So I definitely want to see these brute warriors go at it for, couple matches. You know what I'm saying? Nothing overboard, man. Just give them a couple good matches in and, after that, they'll probably set Rusev up for something else, man. Something major, but not too big, to kind of maybe get him a belt, a little title run or something of that nature.
Yeah, so we'll see. Like I said, Rusev been getting these singles matches, so he's gonna have to produce because a lot of people, no matter what spot on the card you are, is really not getting those singles matches. So it's gonna be real hard to keep that momentum going, and they don't want this flame to wear off too soon, man. So how important you think it is to feature the Tazawas and our troops of the world, Stan, on these shows?
Oh, I think it's good for the fact that people actually like seeing them too
Uh,
because of what they bring, like that little like comedic relief. Granted, we've seen like R-Truth with a serious run. I know people are calling for him to do it one more time before he retires. I don't know if we'll get that, but yeah, like both of them like bring stuff to the table, and honestly, like Tozawa, if they wanted to do like a crazy heel run, it could work. But I feel like on the main roster, I don't know because of how just like stacked it is. Unless they just do a hill run with no kind of title, I feel like R-Truth hill run. I would love to see R-Truth with a title around his waist for one more little Jimmy, one more like serious R-Truth run. It would be good before he retires, because yeah, Saturday night when I text you, I was losing my mind.
Yeah, he definitely was acting a fool on Saturday night's main event, man. It was a quick show, a quick match. And he did what he needed to do in that instance. Maybe he can go after the speed title or something. Maybe he can bring some eyes to the speed title one day, see what happens over there on X, get that championship. But after that highly comical segment, we had a backstage segment with Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer. I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right, and the War Raiders. Either one of you follow these guys? They've been sharing this Burt guy a few times on WWE. And I know they both doing some Netflix, so it might be more of a Netflix promotion that they're doing.
Yeah, they got some specials coming up, but
You really
nah,
watched any of their stuff? No,
I'm not even gonna
no,
lie.
I haven't gotten into these guys, but I guess they're gonna keep force feeding them until we decide to check out, why this guy likes taking his shirt off every time. So we'll see. But they were down out there with the War Raiders, who was getting ready for their match against New Day and the Creed brothers for the World Tag Team titles, I believe it is. So they had that triple threat match next, and New Day ended up winning that match. A lot going on in this sort of a six guys out there type of match. It was definitely a lot happening during this particular match. I personally would rather see just two tag teams go at it and not New Day, if I'm being honest. But we need the bad guys. I guess they were there. They were there to provide that level of energy and color. Like I said, so long as it's crowded, we're gonna get these matches that just has multiple people. We've had, a couple of triple threat matches. Now we got essentially six guys out there. So what you think about the tag match, Spook, with New Day, Creed, and the War Raiders?
Solid match. Like I said, nothing crazy. New Day, always figure out a way to, you know, win the match. Everybody was pretty solid though, man. It wasn't nothing spectacular, nothing that was, I guess a big showcase or anything like that. Just like I said, just a solid match.
Yeah, they was it's kind of the same match we typically see with these guys. It's normally a good match, but it's not. It's kind of the same. It gets a little redundant. And once we get these guys just kind of going against each other, maybe we'll get something a little different. But what you thought about this match thing?
I mean, it's not the outcome I wanted. I thought Creed Bros was gonna win, but yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like now we'll get Creed Brothers versus New Day 1-on-1. So, well, not one, but 2-on-2. So I feel like maybe the end of that match, how it ended, will lead to that. Hopefully, so the Creed Brothers can go ahead and get those titles they so gratefully deserve.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll see. I would definitely like to see the Creed brothers have a run there, man. I think they're a good tag team. I think they feel like a tag team. So it'd definitely be a good look. But right now, with the field being what it is, it's gonna be tough to get it there, and definitely tough to keep them there because New Day has rank, they have seniority, they're the veterans. So they're definitely gonna probably stay on TV for the foreseeable future with this heel turn that I don't even know. I guess they're just doing it, just doing it to have fun. I haven't even suspected that Big E was going to join in on this at this point. So we'll just kind of see where they're going. After the War Raiders and Creed and New Day got done with their match, with New Day retaining their titles, we had a backstage segment with Sammy and Jey Uso, which I think we've been getting that sort of regularly now with those guys being cool and having to deal with Seth Rollins and that whole regime. When you see Sammy, do you see a scenario where he could end up in Money in the Bank and win and have to make that decision of cashing in on Jey Uso at some point? Or is he just somebody there to just add a little fire? Spook, what you think about Sammy's involvement at the top?
But not too soon.
Yeah, what you think, Stan? He's just gonna be adding a little color, a little seasoning to this picture, man. He ain't really got no championship you see coming anytime soon.
Yeah, like I know eventually he might get there. I just don't know when they'll pull the trigger. Cause story wise, I feel like it's gonna get in the hands of Seth or CM Punk eventually. So it's like, how do we get there? Like how long is Jay gonna have it? Do you want Sammy to turn on Jay and go heel and be the one to take it? And then Sammy ultimately drops it to Seth or CM Punk. Because, I mean, I don't know if it's this WrestleMania, but maybe next year WrestleMania. Like, that's your main event, night 2. That's the one. That's the big one. So, it's just like, how do we get there? And, I mean, I would love for Sammy to turn and take it from Jay. I mean, I don't know if they're going to do the last minute qualifiers, like the people that lost. You know how they used to do those? Maybe Sammy can get in that way and win Money in a Bank briefcase.
Yeah.
Cause I feel like even though I mean Seth is like and I just don't think like he would need the briefcase to like cash in on Jay.
Mm.
So even though he's in, I don't see him winning Money in the Bank. But I mean it could be some outside interference since Money in the Bank is a no DQ match, I guess. But yeah, I don't know.
Sammy's stuck in a tough spot. He's just I don't know. I don't know where they really gonna find a way to do something more with him. He's in
I
a
feel like the only way they'll do it is if like the fans like I don't know start booing him for no reason. Like every time he talks, they just start booing, so they can get the message to go ahead and turn him. But I don't know. I don't know. It's
yeah, because
weird.
he's got to skip the line a lot. He's got to skip a lot of people. He could have anybody could have a brief run. I just think that Seth needs it in his hands, probably going into night 2 WrestleMania or possibly winning it there to even further the storyline from that point. So I don't know what they're going to do in the meantime. I'd rather see him already have it and have him and CM Punk in that main match with obviously Paul Heyman's influence on that and whatever else has been going on with that particular group. But until then, Sammy is on our screen and we just really don't know why. He's gonna be there. After that, we had Liv and Raquel running the Io, Sky, and Kyrie Sane, and I guess this was a way to get Io on TV and not have her miss a week without her having an actual match and setting up this qualifying match between Liv and Kyrie Sane as well. So I didn't see much here. Was a pretty dry segment in my opinion. I've always been of the mindset that if they have that championship on them, they need to do something meaningful every time we see them. And she kind of just came off a more of a bystander in that moment. So what'd you think about that? Did you catch that segment, Spook, with that backstage segment with those ladies?
Yeah, I caught it, man. Like you said, just a normal interaction. Nothing. I did like that. They were speaking in their language at the end of the little the little back and forth. But that was pretty cool. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, I think what you think, Stan? I mean, you've been watching SmackDown as well. Like the way they put Tiffany is on that pedestal is very different than what they do with Io Sky over here on Raw. So I think they really just don't believe in her, and they just want to say, hey, we got somebody that IWC likes, we got somebody foreign, and the main champion is really over there on SmackDown.
I don't know. Like I don't know. 'Cause it's just weird how it's kind of weird how they like treat her a little bit. Like, granted, I understand the story part when they was doing that match, she was supposed to be like the forgotten one, but it's like they kind of still do that even though it's over with. Like, I mean, she really hasn't had a singles match in a minute. It's just been mostly, the tag team matches.
Mhm.
I mean, she even went down to NXT for a match. She had a tag match down there, and I don't know. Like, I was hoping that she would have a better run in this, and I really think that's more on them as like booking wise, because I mean, she can go in the ring, and she's trying to get there with the promos. So I really think that's mainly on them. Ultimately loses the title, and people say, "Oh, this round wasn't as good as the last one." Well, it's this one's on the machine. It's not really
Yeah,
on her.
yeah,
She's done everything they asked.
and that's coming. You know that's on the way. There's nothing she's gonna be able to do to recover from this title run. It's over. I mean, she had a moment with Rhea. I think it was last week, or maybe when they just kind of said, "Okay, we done defeated everyone, and we're just gonna go live happily ever after." And it didn't set up anything. This week didn't set up anything. So I think she's gonna be the champ that gets cashed in on, and whoever that may be is just gonna run off with that title because I think they really believe in Tiffany Stratton over there a little bit more. She might lose the title the traditional way, possibly, but I'm not sure who that would be or what that might look like. I think whoever cashes in is probably going to be doing it on Io Sky, and she's just going to fade to black again. Maybe they go and capture the tag titles, her and Kyrie, and even Raquel can break up, and Raquel can go into oblivion, and Liv can try to just be relevant again without her, or develop a feud with Roxanne or something like that. So that's kind of the only path I can really see here in order to kind of still keep a few people in the fold. But theoretically, I think Io and Kyrie might actually look and do better as a team than they are really going to be in singles competition because it just hasn't been working out so far, and I don't see what they're going to be able to do. But after the Io interaction, we got Jey Uso hitting the ring, and of course that's necessary. Got to give the people a chance to eat with him, coming through the crowd as he does, and just as he started talking, Gunther comes out because they set up the match on Saturday Night Main Event when Cody Rhodes came back and set up the match with him and Jey Uso versus John Cena and was it Logan Paul? Yeah, Logan Paul and John Cena versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. So I think once Jay was out there cutting his promo, Gunther had to remind him, I'm still on the way. I'm still coming. So I think they're doing that on a Monday Night Raw, though, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, is that the one right after Money in the Bank?
It's whatever the Phoenix one is. So it's either right after Money in the Bank or it's right after Saturday Night Main Event. But I know it's the Raw in Phoenix. So
Gotcha.
it's right after one of those.
So they're gonna be coming with that match. So Gunther comes out, cuts a promo. Jay didn't seem to have much to say other than saying I'm gonna make you tap out again. They didn't really have a long verbal exchange. And I think we it's ironic how often we've seen this. No matter how many people are in this title picture, it's almost like they just trying to wait for something bigger to happen. I'm not sure what that is, but it just seems like we're just being held over because I don't know. I guess Gunther could theoretically get the title back, but I think that may be a little bit not only premature, but may not even be the right guy for the moment. So, but what you thought about that promo, Spook, with Jay and Gunther and these guys getting ready to do battle one more time?
But yeah, solid promo, man. Just trying to hype up the crowd, man, between this match with Gunther and Jay. Gunther, he's pretty much cutthroat, point blank, man. There ain't really too much that he go say or do unless he put hands on you or something like that. So it ain't just getting everything ready, man, for the next show.
Yep. So not a lot to unpack there. Just kind of a regular promo. Do you think this is a good way to kind of hold everything over, Stan, until they get to where they going with this, or you think they're really trying to get Gunther back with the world heavyweight title?
I don't think he'll get it back. It's pretty much just the rematch that he was given in the contract of the match. Honestly, I don't think they'll do a hot potato situation
Yeah.
with it. So
Well,
yeah,
that's going to be what that's going to be. We're gonna see how many more matches they can get out of Gunther and Jey Uso. This was
it's
like
gonna be Sasha and Charlotte all over again.
yeah, or Cesaro and Sheamus. They did like a 6 or 7. So we might be looking at something like that soon. We did get a preview to Cody Rhodes' podcast. What do you want to talk about? His first guest being Brandy. It looks cool. Obviously, overexposure has come and gone, so it's definitely a lot more insight into whatever Cody may have going on. And it looked like they were maybe talking about his return back to the WWE from his journey on the Indies and AEW and things like that. What you think, Spook? Is this a pod? Does it give you a podcast you want to tune into and kind of see what Cody got to talk about, or is it just not really something you see yourself watch?
I mean, I may tune in a couple shows to see how it goes. Like I said, everybody trying to do the whole little podcast thing, man. So it's just hopefully it's nothing just gonna be overcrowded, crowding the circuit already or anything like that, So we'll see. I catch a couple episodes here and there, man. Maybe have an old head on there or something of that nature to, have a good chat. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, he's been doing it. I think he took a break, so this is kind of I think the second another season or reboot or something like that. Though, when you did you catch his podcast before, Stan? His the Cody podcast. You caught any of those episodes?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. I was just listening to it. I mean, it was good. It's always good when a superstar does something that is well, I mean, I guess it's not out of the norm now because everyone, does this kind of stuff. But when it's out of the norm for them, it shows a different side of them. And just another way to make them more accessible to fans, honestly. Because, like, when we were growing up, wrestlers, it was just like, I don't know. Like, I remember my mom sent me, I went to a couple, like, meet and greets, and Sting straight up was just, he would be there with it. You would never see his face. So if he didn't have a face paint, he would have his sunglasses on. And if he didn't have his sunglasses, he would have his face paint on. So you just never knew how he looked. You honestly never knew. Like, I didn't know how Sting looked until I got to high school. Like, I just never knew how the man looked. And it's just good now that the generation after us growing up, they get more opportunities to see these guys and ladies just like regular humans and not just this character. Like
Yeah,
how
so they're pulling back the veil a little bit, continuing that.
now they got that Netflix show, I think, about the whole backstage process, letting you see how it goes for production. For like that's gonna different one right there. I didn't think they would ever do something like that.
I guess it depends on how I'm assuming these are going to be shows that were already completed in order to not spoil anything. There's been numerous podcasts that did talk about what those meetings were like uh uh, in production. So I guess they're just saying, we're gonna take control of the story and that narrative and not let Eric Bischoff or JR or
Vince Russo.
yeah, Vince or Kevin Nash or whoever those guys are. Bruce Pritchard was the biggest one, but now he's with them. That would tell a lot of those stories. They get to say, hey, we're gonna just take back the narrative of what was going on, or maybe try to show up some of these wrestling journalists and reporters and all of that, to say, hey, this is what we were thinking versus what you guys were actually reporting. So we'll see how they use that. But nothing wrong with peeling back the veil just a little bit. Everyone likes some behind the scenes stuff. So after that, we got the Liv and Kyrie Sane match. That match ended with Roxanne coming out and her and Raquel having a moment, and Liv ended up losing, and I believe Kyrie now is qualified, which makes sense. She doesn't have a title. I guess you can say she has a realistic shot at even winning and possibly cashing in on her friend. The match didn't really do much for me. I like more so what they were setting up with Roxanne. So that's kind of what I'm trying to see what's going to happen. I don't believe that Kyrie is going to be the Money in the Bank winner for the women's, but somebody's got to be in that match. So I think this entire match was really just about setting up whatever future possibilities is going to be going on with Roxanne. But what you thought about this match, Stan?
Same thing. Like I don't think Kairi Sane's gonna win. It would be interesting if she did win. But yeah, it's really to set up a storyline between Roxanne and Judgment Day. Honestly, where they're gonna go with that storyline, it'll be very interesting because it's like a couple ways they can go with it. As far as based off what happened in that triple threat match, but I'm very interested to see what can happen. Yeah, Kari, like if she wins, that would be amazing. But she's really in there for, I mean, she's athletic, and you want that kind of person in a ladder match because you want the crowd to be amazed, and she will definitely amaze it. I expect an insane elbow off of the top of the ladder at some point.
Right. Stack a ladder on top of a ladder and jump. She definitely gonna get her spots in, man. What you thought about this match, Spook? This match did something to you, or you went and made something to eat?
And I mean, I watched it through, man. It was like you said, it wasn't nothing crazy. I just like this whole little feud, like you understand, saying that's building between Roxanne and what Finn trying to do, man. So it's a good look for Judgment Day. Like I said, it's just keeping them, relevant each week, man, as far as Dom and, his women and, what he got going on and what Finn trying to do, man, trying to break it up, trying to keep them together, trying to go his own way, just this whole little storyline is developing real good. I'm liking it, man. I'm loving it.
Yeah, so we'll see. After that, they did have a backstage segment with Judgment Day again. We got two of them tonight.
Mm-hmm.
This one looked like Liv having more of a breakdown and trying to figure out what was going on. Basically, still setting us up for the Roxanne and Liv eventual feud, because I think that Raquel might be a bump in the road, but I think this is really going to be about Roxanne and Liv, and that I'm going to always enjoy seeing Roxanne. So as long as she's there, we should be. I'm gonna be happy. I know that much. So continue setting that up. And then after that, next up we had Lyra coming out, cutting a promo, and we didn't quite get fiery Lyra. She's a little more settled in this particular one. Was interrupted by Becky Lynch, and I believe they have another match coming up. I'm definitely under the belief that they do want to keep this going. I do wish Becky could have won the title to make it a little bit more meaningful and just get us another elevated side of Lyra on this one. I thought they cut some, it was a decent promo. It wasn't nothing special in my opinion. And they just basically setting up this match, and Lyra still trying to climb out of that shadow that she's in with Becky Lynch. They threw out the husbands and the fiance. I don't know who the fiance is with Roxanne, but there was a reference to Seth Rollins in there with Becky. But they did what they can with this. I like them continuing to keep this going and trying to see if they can get more meat out of this thing, and maybe soon next time Becky could get the win, and she just wasn't gonna get it last time. But hopefully she can get that win, and then we can get them in a steel cage, or we can get them in a or we can get them in the ladder or something. Put some other stipulations in there with the ladies. So, what you think about them continuing this here feud, staying with Lyra and Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyrie?
I mean, honestly, it's good. You get the teamwork that angle. I mean, honestly, it's really no one else who can compete for that championship right now. I mean, because Bailey's still out. Roxanne's already in a program. Makes no sense for Liv to do it. Raquel, nah, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, who you got left on Raw? So it's like, yep, let's go ahead and continue this with Becky Lynch. Because if Becky does win, then they gotta fight one more time. But if Raquel wins, then we'll be done with that. And then I'm not Raquel. If Lyra Valkyrie wins, they can, move on. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a returning superstar at Money in the Bank for Becky Lynch to have fun with. That will hopefully be Bailey, so they can continue that story. Since technically, she was the one to put Bailey out and injured her storyline wise. So why not?
They still got to run that back at some point. I don't know that anyone's going to care, and I think
Yeah,
that's going to be the biggest hurdle with that.
yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, they just may need to do it in a tag team setting. Maybe Becky finds a tag partner and they just do one match, and Roxanne team up with not Roxanne, Bailey teams up with Lyra, and Becky finds somebody, and we can kind of see what they can just do a tag match and be through with it. I don't
Yeah,
know what's
because
going to do.
it's just weird.
Once Bailey comes
It's
back,
like they're doing too much. Because
yeah,
Raquel never really, not Raquel. Roxanne never finished her storyline with Bailey. Like almost like 3 months, her and Bailey was going back and forth, and it's just nothing came of it. And I'm like, what? Like that could have been a WrestleMania match. It's just weird, man. Like nothing. I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know.
It just the only concrete seemed to really be with what they're doing with the SmackDown ladies. The Raw ladies is really disheveled right now. Bianca's out, and Rhea is just, she had a promo tonight about being in the Money in the Bank match, but the rest of the ladies are just really all over the place. Lyra seems to only have one challenger, and like you said, if she wins again, I don't know where she goes from here. What you think about Lyra and Becky continuing this feud?
I mean, they had to keep it going. That's the only thing. We don't have enough women on the Raw side, man. They got to keep that going. Or like you said, she gonna end up, kind of like another version of Io Sky, man. Just there, just to say hey, and then and bye. I'm going for the night. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, who else could they bring? They got to bring some ladies up, man. They got to, they got to do something.
They gotta do the draft and maybe move some people around. Maybe we'll get caution tape Naomi to come over to Monday Night Raw.
Well, I know it was one girl that they drafted. They allegedly said she's coming back. Kiana James, because remember she came up, made one appearance and just disappeared. Like,
it's gonna be tough to build her to a point of relevancy
because she's been gone for so long.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna make anyone feel like she has a chance of winning or beating anybody.
Because everybody was hyped when she came up, and then they just like, yeah, you get one appearance and just.
Yeah, I don't know. They
It was
may need
weird.
to really shake things up. Bring up Jada Parker, Soul Ruka, get some of those ladies down there in NXT. Move some of the SmackDown ladies around. Because I don't know that Jade is really. I get it. She has the look, but in ring wise, there's a lot to be desired there. I think she might do better winning a title from maybe Lyra or Zelina Vega, maybe a title on that level versus Tiffany Stratton, or even Io, just to have that main title. But she has the look for it. She has the look. She can definitely do daytime television. She can move around all the podcasts and talk. It's just in ring, it's a lot. She still need to go. I mean, there's always a couple of spots during a Jade Cargill match where I'm just like, ah, man.
Yeah, man, she's more like a one-hitter quitter, man. That coming there do the finisher, and she look good as that. Just finishing the match off. If it's a tag team, she look good because she can come there, knock somebody out. You know what I'm saying? Do a finisher, and she good to go. But like you said, as far as like her just going for 10, 15 minutes straight, yeah, like she either get a little fatigued or what I'm saying, she just like you said, miss a move, and she's supposed to be standing right here, and she too far over, or she didn't attack when she was supposed to.
Yeah, it's so I don't know what they're gonna do with her. But if they do a shakeup of the rosters, that's probably gonna help Monday Night Raw and kind of get some fresh faces for Lyra, who I think is slowly becoming more featured than Io Sky, and that might continue because Io doesn't even have a feud. He's just waiting on a Money in the Bank winner to see if they're gonna cash in on her. At this point, I don't even know that we can expect her to have a match at Money in the Bank. I haven't seen an announcement yet, unless I missed something for that, or even Worlds Collide. So she may just be sitting around for a good minute. So Lyra has a chance to really be the number one on that show, despite it being the secondary championships. But after that, we got Sammy and Karrion Kross backstage. Karrion doing his usual backstage appearance. I am starting to. Sammy, is Kross injured? I don't recall.
That's another thing that's weird. Like,
It's so confusing as to what's going on with him.
Yeah, because he was on TV every week. He ended up selling his shirts a lot. They said they was going to start carrying at the live shows, and then it's just like this. It's weird, man. It's just weird.
It's so crowded. I don't know where he fits in. The problem with his ability to talk is that it almost eliminates him from the Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins team they got going on, because the two guys they brought in are not strong talkers. So his ability to talk almost makes him kind of stand alone. He has a manager or a valet or whatever you want to call it already, in Scarlett. So that limits his reach a little bit there. The guys that he may feud with seem to be very busy and very tied up, unless he was on maybe SmackDown, where I think Damian Priest is now available, or Drew would be available. But on Monday Night Raw, I just don't know where he'd go as far as who he'd feud with and try to really be out there on a weekly basis. The main title is not happening. At least I don't see it happening anytime soon. Yeah, so he's definitely and Dominic, I don't see him fighting that for that. I think he has the Intercontinental Championship, if I'm not mistaken. but I don't see him fighting for that one either. But that would be something a little bit more realistic because Dominic is about to be another one with a lackluster run here in a minute. If they change that over really quickly, he's going to be another one where we won't be able to remember anything that he did other than slide a chair up under Finn Balor's face. But we'll get to that in a second. So yeah, so we'll see what's going on with Karrion Cross, man. Are you looking forward to Karrion Cross doing more Spook? Are they creating enough anticipation for his eventual match, or are they just making us, feel like this flame is gonna burn out really soon here?
Because I don't know what they're doing with him. She just showing up, and like you said, they got a little quick segment for him to sell a few words, and that's really it. Like you said, it's really who can he feud with, or who can he kind of make a match with. I thought they was going with him and AJ for a minute, but that was the only one that I seen that can maybe draw it out a couple months or so. That was it.
Yeah, I think the problem is with AJ. I think Cross comes off a little heelish, but I think he's really getting more over with the fans and becoming more of a baby face. So it's now he's only having those heel guys that he may be able to work with, but he's like in this sort of weird area
Twin.
with a heel and a baby face that is finding an opponent is becoming tough. Yeah, he could fight Sammy, but Sammy is busy with the former bloodline situation and what's going on in the main event. AJ just took a minute. He took a break. So you don't really have that. Sheamus and Rusev is about to do their own thing. So you don't really have either of those guys. So I don't really know. It said he doesn't seem to be, Finn Balor's in the top of the card right now, fighting in the main event, and Dominic is not really fighting, and he's not going to get any matches with anyone else from Judgment Day. So I'm not really sure what they're teasing with Cross, or if they just like, we're gonna keep you, let's just keep doing this until something does come available, because it is really, really crowded, and you got to be careful about who he goes up against next. You think you could see a scenario stand where his next feud or match he's actually losing?
Nah, that's why I feel like they probably waiting to see which way they're gonna go. I mean, he's hot right now, so I don't think they want to play him in a situation like that where he does lose. But I don't know.
So
They've done
who could they give him right now that he could beat?
on
What's
Raw.
it, what's an interesting person on Raw right now?
Nobody that doesn't have anything going on Raw. I don't know.
That's
Like,
probably
cause
exactly how they feel in the back in the
yeah,
writers' room. That's probably
yeah, it's
exactly.
weird. Cause it's like not a. Let me pull up the Raw roster. Cause I feel like it's not a single person on Raw right now that can like,
Well, and be interesting enough to say, let's put these guys on TV,
yeah,
right? Because if it's just anybody, we can throw JD McDonough out there, we can throw Carlito out there, we can throw Otis and Cesaro out there, but none of these
yeah.
may be
Cause
interesting, and some of them are babyface.
yeah, it can't be Austin Theory or Grayson Waller because they got something going on already. I don't know. Maybe well, no, because you don't want him to lose when he comes back. If he comes back soon, Dragunov, Ilya Dragunov, you don't want him to lose when he comes back. And then of course, like it's just a lot of stuff that they haven't really like. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, Kaiser, but we don't know where he is.
Yeah, that and
That's like the one person
yeah, depending on how interesting they can make it.
like Tyler Bate. I don't know, but Ludwig Kaiser. I mean, he could get in his head like you don't need Gunther. You see how Gunther has you doing nothing. You're just his lackey. It could work, but yeah, that's the one person.
Yeah, I mean, if Gunther wasn't busy, maybe they can do a best of three or something like that, just to help solidify carrying in that scenario.
Yeah.
But it would be tough for either guy to lose and
Or
still
even,
be good.
I mean, you could do Carlitos. You can tell Carlito like, oh, you need to go back to your serious how you were back in the day. You don't need these clowns at the Judgment Day. And maybe we can get an old school Carlito return, like how he was when he first came in, when he was actually like not just a joke. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's ways they can go with it.
Yeah, they're gonna have to dig in the crates for carrying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're just holding him over right now. After that, we had our main event: Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and Sami Zayn for the Money in the Bank qualifying match. I thought they were having a pretty solid match, as you would expect from these three guys who are all veterans, professionals in the ring. They know what needs to be done and what needs to happen, and carrying that weight of the main event on their shoulders. So they definitely did their thing. And then I think, as predicted, the antics had to start, and there was quite the amount of antics. To say the least, it went all over the place. I think we got Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed first, the Braun and Braun crew. We got those guys first, and they was coming out and wreaking a little havoc. And then I believe next was Jay Uso, if I'm not mistaken. He came out there and kind of got in the way of that. And then Dom comes out and he's, slides in the chair. And then just as they're about to put in a little bit more work, CM Punk comes out. And obviously, watching from home, you can see that camera zooming heavily in those guys walking to the back, which symbolizes he's about to come from behind him in the ring. So that's what happened. Gets one over on Seth Rollins and leaves him laying as the show went to a close. I thought they got a lot of their stars in the main event. That may have been the goal. They also probably don't need no additional smoke right now. I'm not sure what made him want to go and try to help out his buddy Sammy, because you got Cena and Logan Paul gunning for you. So, and then you got Gunther gunning for you. So now you want to go make enemies with Braun and Bronson Reed. I don't think that's a wise idea. Not to mention Seth Rollins is there, and whatever else they may have up their sleeve. So Jey Uso's got a heavy plate coming out in that way. I don't know where they're going with CM Punk right now. I'm not sure where they're going with him, to see what they're going to do as far as including him in this whole feud somewhere. He might just branch off and have a nice program with Bronson Reed, just because we just need to buy time to SummerSlam, or we need to buy time to Survivor Series, War Games, or WrestleMania. So he might just do something with him for a while right now and let Seth just kind of hover around it. But overall, I thought it was a solid match. I'm always for the antics and the hijinks. Seth Rollins did get the win and qualify for Money in the Bank. So I think it would be very interesting to see him with the Money in the Bank briefcase. It almost would be no fail. I think it would be no fail for him to get it, just like it was for him to qualify, and no fail for him to actually cash it in. So we'll kind of see what happens there with Seth Rollins as he goes on the Money in the Bank. But what you thought about the main event, Spook, man? Were there being the main event?
Oh yeah, man. That was definitely a solid match, man. Finn can go, Sammy can go, automatic step. So they put up a good show tonight, man. As far as before the, like you said, the extracurricular activities, came on, what I'm saying? So they were really putting on a good little show, man. Sammy was in there trying to do his thing. Of course he, ran out of gas. So, good main event for the night, man.
Yeah, man, definitely good. What you thought about the main event, Stan?
I mean, it was a good main event. You got three guys who can wrestle, three guys that all have a interesting storyline going. So it kind of makes you think like uh, either one of the three of them could win at any moment.
Mhm.
So it was what a main event is supposed to be for a regular like weekday show.
Yeah, they definitely did that. It was a qualifying match, so it realistically could have went either way. We just wasn't gonna know that until the end. Overall, I thought they did a solid job of being the main event, and that's what you got to do. You got to be the match that people want to wait to tune in to see. So they need to do something big, and they brought out the stars. They brought out the hijinks. They got Bronson Reed a little bit dirty again. So I thought it was a good look. What you thought about the show overall, Spook?
All right, yeah, very good show tonight, man. I definitely enjoyed it, man. Especially being able to catch the thing from beginning to end.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I said, it was a good show. Good show.
Solid show for sure.
Yeah.
What you thought about the show tonight, Stan? Any
You know what I'm
final
saying? It
thoughts
was
on
it
it?
was a solid show. Had good matches on the card. Had a couple matches that was like, oh, okay, I can go refresh my drink or go to the bathroom.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was a good Raw for leading into Money in the Bank, pretty much.
Yeah, which is two week. These are coming quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are just on top of each other. Those that's coming up real quick. So, overall, I thought it was a good show tonight, and they definitely did a lot to set up the not just Money in the Bank, but also Worlds Collide as well. And wherever Gunther and Jey Uso is getting their next match. So we'll see more of that. But that was it for the Memorial Day edition, post Monday Night Raw post show. Appreciate you guys dropping in. Stan, Spook. Thank you guys for listening in tonight. Please go subscribe. Hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcast. We are there. So hit that, join the conversation, continue tuning in, and we'll see you guys next Monday for the next show. All right, y'all take it easy, man. I'll
All right,
catch you up
fellas.
in a minute.
All right, y'all take it easy.